No, this is the end of the
All right, welcome everybody. Mummy, we're all ready for your good night story.
Oh, dear me. Well, I didn't expect to see your mother-in-law here.
Well, there's Emma.
Well, that's okay.
Emma's with her. Emily.
Emily's with her and Ryan. Emily, get Ryan, I think.
That's nice. Having a sleepover. Hello, Amy. Hello, Josie. There's Josie. Hello.
Hello.
And Finn and Liam and Maya and Anae. And there's Hannah and Emma and
Yes.
Carly.
Yes, hello.
Carly's got her own
They
screen.
won't be able to hear.
Yes, I see that.
Dun, dun.
Yes,
That's
oh,
nice.
dear me.
Okay.
Shouldn't have said I'll take this.
Mum, you can probably turn your phone
Mummy, your
sideways.
phone. Anyhow.
Landscape.
Hey, my mum.
Landscape.
You know, I think I told you.
No, it's not, doesn't
You
work.
knew that.
So if everybody puts their thing onto mute when Mummy talks, just to make it easier so that she doesn't hear any noises. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah. Where do you close it?
Okay. All right. Okay. Granny's going to start now.
You know, when I was a little girl and the war was just over, everybody was celebrating. And we went to the park and we had an open-air meeting. And there was hundreds of people there. So when our meeting was over, we decided to go home. And as I walked through the park, there was two black girls standing. Now, you have seen plenty of black people, but I had never seen a black person in my life. And these two girls were standing. And I thought, oh, I would love to talk to you. So anyhow, I got closer and closer. And whatever they were watching, I started to watch too. And then I spoke to them. And they called one of them Hannah and the other one Lucy. And I invited them to my mommy's house. So Hannah and Lucy, two very nice girls, their auntie had brought them to Ireland to study. And one was about, I would say about the same, maybe 14 or 16, and the other one was younger. She was a few years younger. So I brought them to my mommy's house and we got very friendly. They always came to visit us, these two girls. And their auntie who had brought them to Ireland, she was very pleased that somebody took notice of these two girls. And then their auntie was taking them on a holiday. And she wanted to know from my mommy, could I go on the holiday too? So we went to a little place called Portavogie. And you know, everybody in the whole little country town, they looked at me because I was with two black girls. You never saw anybody like that in Ireland before.
They were all very, very white.
Yes.
With purple spots.
Anyhow, when it was the week holiday was over, we had a lovely time. We came back home, and then because Hannah and Lucy, they weren't Christians, we sort of separated and fell apart. But do you know who she married? Hannah married a prince, and he was over in England. His name was Prince ADEDOYIN, and he won the English Olympics for Britain in running. And that's who she married. And then I never saw them again. They left this country and they went away back to North Africa again, where they came from. But I still think of Hannah and Lucy very, very often because they had never heard the gospel and I used to talk to them about the Lord Jesus.
You never know where you were going to end up.
So And I didn't know these were African girls. And of course, I always wanted to be a missionary. And little did I know that through meeting these two African girls, I got to love Africa far, far more. I knew Africa was far, far away from Ireland. Oh, it was so far. But you know, the Lord then brought me right here to Cape Town. And you know, when I came to Cape Town, do you know what some naughty people said? You mustn't bother with the black people. No, no, you mustn't. And here I smiled into myself. And here we arrived here on Friday. And on Monday morning, the man that we came to work with, Mr. Coleridge, where did he take us on Monday morning? To the African hospital in Langa. And of course, everybody thought, we're going to a hospital, there's just black people. But you know, we loved them. And we were able to give our tracts in Langa. We were able to visit the people. We went round the hospital beds. And the people were so pleased to see that and Ruth was only a little girl of 4, and she went with us. And we used to go around all the wards and visit all the African people. So that was our first love for African people, away back in Ireland when there was just 2. And I got to know them and love them. And you know, the one married Prince ADEDOYIN. And I don't know where they moved to. I think Grace tried to trace them. But anyhow, that was my first contact with Africa. Yes, so. Grace.
All right. That was a good story, Granny.
So there's any
Thanks very much.
questions you want to ask me?
I actually looked up on the LinkedIn, and that prince would be a very old man now. So his son is now a prince, and he's on LinkedIn. Yeah.
I wonder, is his wife still alive? I've got a photograph of Lucy and Jessie. I still have their photograph.
Lucy and Hannah.
Lucy
Well, if
and
you can
Hannah.
find it,
Yes.
I'll send it to the son on LinkedIn.
No, but we go, I have it here. Yeah, no problem
sure.
to look for it. Yes.
Oh, that was a good story.
Yes, and I do think that when Grace heard that story, she thought, do you know what she thought, children? She thought I'd made it up and there was no such a person.
As Prince ADEDOYIN.
Prince ADEDOYIN, he was a prince. And she did, but anyhow, she did find him. Not right?
I found out that he was a real prince. Yes, that's right. So I made a mistake and Granny was right. Granny was telling a true story. But Granny realized, even though she was only a little girl, she met people from Africa long before she came to Africa, 15 years before she came to Africa, and realized that we are all the same inside. It doesn't matter what country we come from.
Yes,
Isn't that
all our
right?
hearts are still the same, just the same.
That's
Yes.
right, yeah.
All right, guys, we are now 10 minutes. Thanks, Granny. Are there anybody want to talk to Granny? You'll have to take your mic, put your microphones back on.
You got a question?
You got any questions?
I really enjoyed that story, Granny.
Did you enjoy it? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's just a little story, but it's a true story.
I think he actually did high jump for the British Olympics.
He did.
Yeah, it wasn't running. It was, well, partly running, but it was high jump.
Yes, he won.
Yeah.
He won for Britain. Yes. So he married this girl that I have met, Hannah and Lucy Hammelberg. That was their name. Yes.
All right, guys. Any other questions for Granny, or you want to turn your microphones on and say good night, Granny? Okay, I think that's us.
You're
now.
all very serious.
Yeah, it's all.
Unmute. Okay, you can take a minute.
Good night, Granny.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Granny.
Good night.
Slap lekker. Your Granny can speak Afrikaans. Slap lekker.
Night,
Night, night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Lovely to see you all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye.
Bye
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.